Hey everyone, and welcome to the Beez Knits Podcast. I'm Jess, and this is a podcast about knitting and then some other stuff. So if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. And if you are a new viewer, come and enjoy the ride. Okay. I don't think I have a lot of housekeeping today. I meant to record this on Tuesday, which is my normal day. But I ended up having a dentist appointment with a surprise little cavity filling, so I was not up to podcasting because my jaw hurt really bad. And then Wednesday, I just wasn't feeling it, and today is Thursday, and I'm like, if I'm going to do it this week, I gotta get it done. So here we are. It's not going to be too long of a podcast, I'm hoping, and then obviously the 1 week after, since it's going to be probably recorded on Tuesday, will not be a very long one either, so buckle up and let's get this going. Excuse me. If you noticed, I am wearing a finished object, so we'll start with this. And it is the Nurmalintu shawl. Let's start at the beginning. And just keep on going and going. And done. Tip to tip. The last time I showed you, I was where this little progress keeper was here at the end of the lace. And so this week I did this garter panel and this last lace panel. And this is the first time that I've done a picot bind off. So I learned a new skill. So that's what makes these little scallops. If you didn't already know, you probably do. And I still need to block this, which is another new skill I'll be learning because I do not recall ever blocking anything before. So this is beautiful, easy to make, fun to make, free pattern on Ravelry. Get your butt over there and make yourself one. It uses less than 100 grams because I had 100 grams of the Haute Knit Yarns Donatella base, which is their MCN, in Schoolgirl Crush. And this is all I have left. And I'm sure I could do something also. Just, can I show you how squishy this is? I love it. It's so soft and it's so squishy, and I am a convert. Right now, this is my favorite yarn base. I might buy myself some to dye myself some. Would you also like some dyed MCN? Let me know. I am up to, fulfilling a couple orders. I got myself some dye stock made up to make my life easier. And I did do one dye job so far this week, but it's drying because I did it yesterday because I was feeling ambitious. So that's the yarn. And if you remember, if you're a returning viewer, that I got that yarn from the Black Pearl in Rochester, New York. If you're ever around, stop on by. Like I've said before, she's super nice and she has a great array of different fibers and materials, and she has a ton of indie dyers and speckled stuff and variegated stuff. She's got some stuff from England and all over the place. So please do check her out if you're ever in the area. And also, check out Haute Knit Yarn if you're not in the area, and if you don't have a local yarn store or they don't carry it, go check her out on Etsy because everything is gorgeous. I mean, hello, would you not love to have this? It's so nice. It's so squishy. My favorite thing to do with this is just to give it a good squish, and the garter really makes it extra squishy. So that's what I'm going to be doing all winter, is just squishing my shawl that I'm going to wear like a scarf, like the handkerchief kind of scarf. Is that the thing? I was going to say something else, but I don't remember. I am all over the place today, so I'm going to apologize in advance for that. So easy shawl, beautiful shawl. Would not take you as long if you actually sat down to work on one project and didn't do like 70 projects in the meantime. The amount of hours into this is really, I feel like, quite minimal. And I'm hoping it blocks out a little bit larger. Will it? I hear merino blocks out, I hear it grows a little. longer. I don't know. I need to try blocking something because I also need to block that So Faded sweater that I was making. But that's for another podcast because I did not work on that at all. But I will probably pick up the sleeves on that and finish the last sleeve this weekend. That is my goal. We'll see. I don't know. I might be going to a SU game, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have this weekend. So anyways, that's my shawl. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Does this not look like a baby blanket? Could you imagine if you like babies wrapping one up in this and just squishing it? I think people would like that. But I'm cold, so I'm going to put this back on. I really should be wearing like a sweatshirt or long sleeves, at least. It is pretty cool in my house right now. So this is just like a little bonus warm-up. Alright, that's done. The next finished object is the second pair of rye socks that you saw when I had one sock done. Well, I got 2 socks done now. This is where we were when we saw each other last. So I've got these done. And as if getting one pair of these magical socks was not good enough, I made another pair of these in 3 days. Look at them. Day 1. Day 2. Day 3. Bam. I love them. Now, I only did one thing differently with these. Well, okay, I did 2 things differently. One, somehow I wasn't paying attention when I started with the ribbing, and I lost 2 stitches, so I initially cast on 44, and I ended up with 42. And I did it twice in a row, because on the second sock, I cast on 42, and I ended up losing 2 stitches somewhere, so I had to rip it out and start over. I wasn't paying attention, and I did something really dumb. So that's that. So these are actually 2 stitches less than these ones, but they're bigger because of the difference in yarn. They ended up being I don't know if I can show you, like a larger sock. This is the stretched out one. I had everyone try it on. Jess, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm not with the program today, apparently. Let's see. There you go. You can see how there's a little bit extra there. How, they're bigger by a little bit. But that's fine because some people like their sleepy socks to be not super tight. And the only thing I was going to say is I did do one thing differently. I did the decreases differently on the socks. So this is the knit 2 together side, and this is the slip knit side. And my mom was oh no, right here. There we go. Point to the right thing, Jess. So this right here, this little ridge versus this little not really like bumpy ridge. And so my mom was saying how she didn't like the way it looked and asked why you did it. And then I gave her the explanation and she didn't like it. She said she just does knit 2s togethers anyway. So on this second pair that I did, I wanted to see if it would be as big a difference and if it would be as big a ridge. And it's okay. So this is the original knit 2 together side, which makes, a normal little ridge. And then this is the slip knit side that I did knit 2s together. And it's kind of flat here, instead of being a little, here. Let's try to make this a fair comparison. Can I do it? Oh my goodness, Jess. This is stupid. Do you even care? So let me see. So this one has a little ridge, and this one is more flat. Right there, do you see that? So I don't even know if anyone would notice this either, but I thought I would try it. If you don't like paying attention and remembering, you could just do knit 2s together all the way around. Obviously, it makes a fine looking sock. Nothing sticks out like a sore thumb. I think I just don't do it as tightly, and that's why you get these little guys right here the way they are. I think that's probably me. So I got 2 pairs of rye socks done, and I finished my shawl. So I feel like I got a lot done this week. I also worked on 2 different projects. So I have 2 actual whips to share with you. One is the sweater that I've been slowly working on the sleeves. And the last time you saw it, we were here. So last time you saw I did all this. This week, all I did was this, which is 20 rows. So I've got 60 rows done so far, and I'm like less than halfway done. I've got a little more than that to do before I can probably think about the ribbing. So it's not even like a lot of rows in the grand scheme of life, but I just sometimes feel like it's boring, which is so silly because I'll happily work on like a vanilla sock and not care. I think it's because you see the growth faster. So that is the first whip. And the second whip is another pair of rye socks. I can't even help myself anymore. So this is the yarn I'm using, and if you remember, you saw this when I made a baby blanket. I don't love this yarn. It kind of feels like a towel. I don't know. It's kind of rough. It's kind of stiff. It's regular like worsted weight, so it's technically the same as the other one, the speckled ones that I made. But I don't know. I don't love it, and it's making me a really stiff sock. Well, okay, to be fair, the other one's stiff too. So I guess I shouldn't complain about that. And this is 44 stitches. And it just feels big in my hand. Excuse me. And so, I mean, this one's even bigger than the other one that I thought was large. Ooh, let's make sure that they're fairly attached. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just enough that it's still larger. So someone wants some space on their legs and they don't want it tight, then this will be a great gift for them. I already know who's getting this, but I'm not telling in case they ever end up watching before they get their Christmas gift. But I don't know. I'm not a fan. This is the yarn that I actually am liking the least out of all of them that I have done so far. So, I mean, don't get me wrong with that I don't like the color and that I don't think the yarn has a place. I just feel like I don't know if it's gonna make... I don't like working with it. That is what I'll say. I'll just shake these at you. I just don't like working with it. It has been a real slog for me to get this far in this sock. So, I even did this leg part shorter because I was not enjoying it. I don't even care. I just don't. And so I turned the heel, and I did all the decreases, and so I am at the part where you do the pattern until you get to the toe decreases. That's where I'm at on the first sock. I'm hoping to get these done this week. So then I only have one more pair of socks, and then I've got all my Christmas knits done because I'm literally only knitting socks for my parents and my in-laws. And so I get them done, I'm done. And sometimes it's just nice if you have the ambition to just get something done. So that's all of my socks, and that's all of my whips. Let me take a sip of my drink real quick. Okay. So, like I said, I'm busting through this podcast. I'm getting it done. Stash enhancement. I only have 2 things. I bought myself... Why? I don't know. I just felt the urge. So I did it. I bought a pound skein of Lion's brand Pound of Love, which I thought they didn't make, but I found one in the store. I think I've got like a piece of fiber stuck in my throat. Excuse me. So as I was saying, I found a pound. I caked it all up already, but it looks like this. This is only running a little dark here. Can you? No, it's darker here. The closer I get, the more you can see. This runs a little purple. It's like a burgundy color. The name of it is Claret, I'm pretty sure. And I got 7, I think, skeins of this. I bought it to make a sweater. For me or for Nate, I'm not sure. But I like the color. And to prove that I like the color, I also found some markdown skeins of Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted in the colorway Cognac Heather. And they had 8, and I bought 6. Because, you know, I can contain myself, and I don't have to buy all of them. I left 2 for someone else in case they found it and wanted to do a little project. So there's hair on it. And this is also running a little purple. I'll put pictures, it's almost right, online for you to see the true colors. Like I said, I picked up 6 skeins of this. So basically I picked up a sweater quantity of these, and they're very similar. They're definitely within like the same color family. This one runs a little more dark. This one went a little more like heathered grayish. So that's my stash enhancement. I wanted to make a sweater. I might just make a bunch of hats. I don't know. I shouldn't have done it. I've been trying to clean up my yarn, and what did I do? Buy a butt ton of yarn. Come on, Jess. What are you doing? Do you do that? Do you like tell yourself, I don't need it, and then you go to the store and buy crap you don't need anyway? I went to buy literally one thing. I went to pick up an extra skein of this, which is the Lion Brand Woolies in Forest Green Heather, because I can't find another skein, and I thought I had another one for Nate's sweater, but I don't have enough to finish the sleeves otherwise. So I had to buy this. This was a legitimate purchase. Everything else, didn't need. Oh, and I also bought interfacing because I needed that. But I didn't need the other, like, piles and pounds of yarn. So that is my only stash enhancement. Excuse me. This is driving me nuts. So for as far as Beez Knits yarn section, I don't have anything. Like I said, I've shown you everything I've dyed so far. I've shown you whatever I've been knitting on so far with it. And I have one hanging up to dry, so we'll wait till that's dry. I'll probably show you Tuesday next week. And then the knitting plans and the to-do list. Finish that So Faded pint-sized sweater. I have one sleeve left, and then just the neckline. Get it done. Get it, you know, gifted and be happy and done with, just be done with it. I want to be done with that project. I want to finish the sleeves on this sweater. I want to finish that rye sock set. I need to make another pair of rye socks, which I'm thinking I'll take advantage of the fact that I need to make another pair and put it in the Grocery Girls knit along, because they're doing a Tin Can Knits knit along. And I also really want to make their mittens, so if I have time, after I get my Christmas knitting done for people, I might make a pair of mittens out of one of their patterns too, to enter it in the knit along. You should enter in the knit along. You should enter into the knit along too. There we go. I saw on their podcast some of the prizes, and they are pretty great. And also, if you've never been a part of a knit along, you can be new in a knit along with me, because I've never done it before. I feel like I just find it hard to knit something in particular within a given time frame. Like, sometimes I'm not good with deadlines when it comes to knitting. It makes me not want to do it anymore. Does anyone else feel like it ruins the joy of knitting when you have to get it done? Maybe it's just me. Okay, so that's like the legitimate plans. My stretch goal is that I want to make a Diana camera purse. I saw it in a book I got out of the library, and I've got a bunch of yarn and a hook, and I'm ready to go, because that is a crochet project. Also, I want to crochet myself a rag rug. I've got a ton of t-shirts. I was initially going to do a braided rag rug, and then I decided I didn't want to hand sew that all together when I was done. So I gotta throw everything in the washing machine because it got dusty from sitting out. And then I'm just gonna undo the braids that I have, cut up the rest of the t-shirts, and we're gonna make a little rag rug by crocheting, because that seems faster. So have you ever done that? Would you like to do one with me? Maybe we'll do a little knit along, all 5 of my subscribers and 4 people in my group, because that's enough people to do anything, right? Let me know. Maybe if we get more people, we will do a rag rug knit along, crochet along. It's not a knit along then, Jess. Make along. Come on. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm busting through this. I just want to get it done and out there for you so we can move on. It's been a really strange week for me. Oh, unrelated. I hope, well, kind of related. Did everyone have a good Labor Day if you're in the United States? Did you do anything fun? I didn't do anything special in particular. I watched a movie and did housework, which is fine. What'd you do? I would love to hear it. For us, our exciting plans are always doing housework and watching movies. So, I don't know. Do you also do that? Is that like your big plans? Let me know. Let's see. On the show notes, we did finished objects. We did whips. We did our enhancements. We did our plans, and nothing for Beez Knits yarn. Okay. So, if you only came from the knitting, that's it. Thank you very much for stopping by, and we'll see you next week. If you would like to stay, we're going to talk quickly about TV shows and movies and just stuff like that. Okay. First things first, TV shows. I binged watched my way through the first and only season of Netflix's new TV show, Atypical. Have you watched it? Have you heard about it? I don't know. I enjoyed it in a sense, but I'm like not sure how truthful to life it is. So if anyone knows, could you tell me? I'm just curious. They're half an hour, I think, episodes, so it went by really quick. Let's see, what else? We started watching Narcos Season 3, which has been really exciting, and I've very much been enjoying it. I've been enjoying this show for as long as we've been watching it, so I'm glad that the third season it was finally bestowed upon us so we could enjoy it. And if you haven't watched it, it's basically about the drug cartels in Colombia. The first 2 seasons deal with Pablo Escobar, and then this third season is talking about the Cali cartel, which I don't love these guys as much, but you just kind of get what you get, especially when it's generally based on and taken, off of a true story. We also started watching Bob's Burgers Season 7. We have to finish it before the 12th if we don't want to renew our Hulu. So we're trying to decide and get that finished. We're about 8 episodes in now. I love Bob's Burgers. I've actually already seen all the episodes, but Nate hasn't because he's terrible that way. I can't stop playing with this, so I have to take it off. And I can't stop. I just really antsy today. So antsy. I don't know. I've got a lot of pent up energy for no reason. I think I might have actually got good sleep last night. Okay, so Bob's Burgers. Noticed something this time around that I feel like I should have noticed before. All of the titles of definitely for sure the last season that's been out, season 7, are puns and spoofs on movie names. Seriously, Jess, there were a bunch of other ones of these. How did you not notice this sooner? Please tell me you didn't notice so I don't feel so stupid. Thank you. I've been watching The Path on Hulu. I watched the first episode, I was kind of meh. Watched the second episode, I wasn't so sure. And then I put it on in the background while I was doing some knitting, and I kind of got sucked into it. And it's about a cult, but they call it a movement. They're the Meyerists. And it's kind of interesting to see like the discord and even the general like questioning and doubt that people have within especially religion and their belief system inside this specific setting. So I've been enjoying that. It's one of the interests I have, so that just, takes a box for me there anyway. I don't know. Sometimes it feels kind of slow. Maybe it's just because sometimes during the day, I kind of get distracted and I don't pay attention to things. Oh, geez, why did I do that? Ugh, I ruined it. I'm sorry. I still wish I could get this fixed. Do you see how bad you see how bad it is? You see me every week. You know. If I just go like this, it's like you can't see it, right? No, doesn't matter. Anyways, so I've been watching that. Also, we finished season 5 of the X-Files this week. So, I'm kind of bummed because I want to start the next season, but we're probably going to just get those out of the library because we might be getting rid of Hulu, and so we just want to get ourselves to a good place where we could rent or borrow them because Netflix and Fox didn't sign their contract this year, so there's no Bob's Burgers and there's no X-Files on Netflix. So I'm heartbroken about that. But if you have Hulu and you've never seen X-Files, because maybe you were too young like I was when it came out, you should watch it if you enjoy any kind of cryptozoology, alien stuff, government conspiracies, general weird sci-fi stuff. It's super enjoyable, and I love it. And I'm going to be really bummed when I finally finish watching it all, but until then, I want to devour every episode. Okay, that's I think all the TV shows that I've been watching. I've been listening to a lot of my favorite murder podcasts. I've been watching some other knitting podcasts trying to get caught up. I'm watching everyone talking about Rhinebeck and I want to go. So I'm kind of bummed. It's not even that far away from me. I live in New York State, so, you know, it's just a drive for me, and I just, not this year. And I've thought about going before, too. This is not the first time that I've considered it, but now it's like, you kind of, like, when you watch podcasts, you feel like you know someone, so you feel like they're your friend. You know, you sit down with them for, like, somewhere between half an hour to 2 hours a week. Plus, you're looking at their stuff on Instagram and in the Ravelry group, so you feel like you know them, and you're just like, oh, well, my friend is going here, and you're like, all my friends are going but me. So it's that kind of thing. So I just try to ignore the fact that I'm not going, and can't wait to see everyone's, you know, pictures and videos, and Instagram posts, and all their vlogs, and their podcasting about it, and all that. Because then it's kind of like you were there. I mean, if you have a good enough imagination, it's like you were there. So, it's kind of a bummer. But I know a lot of people don't go. I know a lot of people, you know, just can't get the time off from work or get the money together or just, you know, get stuff situated so that you can travel. So, we'll have our own little Rhinebeck at home party where, you know, you just knit on your own or go to the local yarn store or, I don't know, do whatever you wish. Maybe you don't care. I'm going to stop talking about that now. That's just a whole nother tangent that no one needs. Okay. I have watched 3 movies. 2 I watched on my own. 1 Nate and I watched together over the long weekend. I watched the Netflix documentary called Casting JonBenet about JonBenet Ramsey. I saw the Scientology documentary that came out recently that does the same sort of thing where they tell you the story through people who are auditioning for the part. So, you know, they'll audition some people, and then the people will talk about, say, a certain part of the story. And so you get a lot of information about the story that way, about the people in the area who heard about it, who used to read about it in the papers, who, you know, live down the street near from them or whatever. And then you get, you know, everyone's conspiracy theory kind of thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to knock the camera stand. And then after you talk to them, you see them, like, play out a scene with the different actors, and it's interesting to see their takes on it, but also I kind of feel like it's a really weird way to make a documentary, because the Scientology documentary did it too, and I thought it was strange when I saw it in that. And I know that one came out after, I think, this one, but I just feel like it's a really strange format, and I don't know that it's fair to call it just a documentary, but I don't know what else you would call it. So, it's rated really well, I thought. I know a lot of people liked it, so, I mean, oh, jeez. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop knocking you now. If you have interest in that, it's probably worth the time to watch it. Another sip. So, someone interrupted me, and I'm back. As I was talking about, I feel really self-conscious right now, knowing that someone was making noise upstairs and listening to me. So, let's see. The other movie I saw was Who Took Johnny, which is the documentary about Johnny Gosch. And, let's see. If you did not know, he was a paperboy in Iowa who got abducted, and there were all kinds of conspiracies around it, and there was mumblings. I don't know, was it proven that it was a child trafficking ring? I think it happened in the 80s. It was either late 70s or early 80s, I think. Don't quote me on it. You could just look it up. I could have just looked it up before I started talking to you about it. And people just didn't talk about that kind of stuff. And every time a kid disappeared, they thought they were a runaway. So this is about how his mother had done everything possible she could to try to find him. And then also a weird piece of information is that he's the first missing child to appear on a milk carton. Which, do they even still do that anymore? Wasn't there a book about that too? Not about Johnny Gosch, I don't think, but something about, like, milk carton kids. Am I making this up? Am I not remembering this right? I don't think I read it anyway, so that doesn't help. So that's what it's about. It was very interesting because I didn't know a lot about the story. So like, lost my mojo right now. I'm sorry. So basically it's about Johnny and it mostly focuses on his mother and the stuff that she had dealt with, and the stuff she, all the shows she went on, and all the feelings she was feeling, and then how she is like this big advocate now for that. So while the whole situation is really crummy, she has done a ton for, other missing children and for their families, like an amazing amount of advocacy and work. So give that a watch if you've never seen it before. It's very interesting, and it was way before my time, so it wasn't really in my periphery. There were some things that I remember, like I remember growing up, the JonBenet Ramsey story. I was really little though. Like when I was growing up, I know OJ was a thing, but I was so young, me personally, that I either didn't know what it was about, I didn't get it, I didn't watch the news, I didn't see it on TV. It just was like something you heard about. So it was kind of like one of those things. And now on to the best movie that I've seen in a long time. It's called Housebound. It came out. Okay. Housebound. Came out in 2014. It is a New Zealand horror comedy movie. Rotten Tomatoes calls the genre comedy and mystery and suspense. Supposedly it is not rated. It runs an hour and 40-ish minutes, I think. Let me read for you the description. So it says, Kylie Bucknell is forced to return to the house she grew up in when the court places her on home detention. Her punishment is made all the more unbearable by the fact she has to live there with her mother, Miriam, a well-intentioned blabbermouth who's convinced that the house is haunted. This is a key important part of the movie, by the way. The thought that the house was haunted. Kylie dismisses Miriam, her mom's, superstitions as nothing more than a distraction from a life occupied by boiled vegetables and small-town gossip. However, when she too becomes privy to unsettling whispers and strange bumps in the night, she begins to wonder whether she's inherited her overactive imagination, or if the house is in fact possessed by a hostile spirit who's not particularly thrilled about her return. So, I'm just going to put a spoiler alert here. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, if you plan on watching it, because it is very good, skip through this, or maybe just turn it off, because I think I'm just going to talk about this and then I'm going to be done for the podcast. Okay. Is everyone who wants to hear about this here? If you hear a spoiler, you can't say that I ruined it for you. I warned you. Okay, so the movie starts out with like a ton of goofiness. It's not like overtly childish goofy, but like there's definitely comedy, and I didn't know it was supposed to be a comedy, so that was a surprise. And every time the movie doesn't try to scare you, it's making you laugh, which is, I feel like, a great hallmark to deal with the, stressed out feeling you get while watching these movies. So it starts out that the house is haunted. And so then you think that there's like some kind of poltergeist in the house that's really bothering in our main character. And then you find out that their house was supposed to be a bed and breakfast. And then, just kidding, the bed and breakfast did not exist, and it was actually like a halfway house. And then you find out that a girl was murdered in this halfway house. So then you think it's that girl's ghost. And then you think, after you find this clue, that it's the neighbor. And then the neighbor tells you something else. And then, things keep happening, and you're just like, well, what's gonna happen? And then shit gets really fucking crazy, because there's a dude living in the walls of their house. And I don't know about you, but I've got like maybe 4 inches, from my inside wall to my outside wall. And I think that's being generous. So no one could fit in there. But they have like legitimate like hallways around the outside of their house. Around the whole house. So there's a guy living in their house. And then they think it's him. But joke's on you, it's not him. It's still somebody else. That's right. If you get that far in the movie, you've probably figured out who it is. I won't tell you, I guess I'll leave that part a surprise. But for sure watch the movie, because it's hilarious, it's scary. It rides the line perfectly between a comedy movie and a horror movie. And it starts out as like a ghost horror movie and then turns into like a psychological thriller. It's probably not a movie you could watch more than once if you, if you're like me and you watch psychological thrillers. They're kind of like a one and done kind of thing. you watch it, and then you get that big twist, and then you're like, oh, and then like the surprise isn't there again, so it's almost not worth watching again unless you're gonna watch it with someone who's never seen it before. But the twist was great. I remember when I was little and I saw Hide and Seek, that was like the first movie that I saw where it had like some huge twist and you were like, what? No. So it kind of gives you that feeling, which I really like. And if you like scary movies that aren't really about like haunted houses but start out that way and then turn into something else, you'll like it. Yes, my hands are going like this, you just can't see it. So I guess that's where I'll leave it on there. The movie is rated exceptionally well on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is 73%. It's a 3.7 out of 5, but the critic rating is like 97%, which is a 7.6 out of 10. My opinion is this movie is like 10 out of 10 good. You gotta watch it. So, I think that's it. I've been talking for about half an hour if I take out the time that I was staring at the screen doing nothing, waiting for someone. I'm looking around, thinking if there's anything else to jog my memory, but pretty sure that's it. I will see you guys again probably Tuesday for my normal podcasting day. I just wanted to get this stuff done out of the way and show you what I've been up to, talk about the movie, ask how your holiday weekend was, if you did anything fun for Labor Day, you went on vacation. All the kids around here are back to school now, so the stores are a heck of a lot quieter if you want to go shopping in the middle of the day. So that's nice. It's cooling down, which I love. And like I said, fall is coming, and I've got my scarf done. So I'm really proud of this. It's just so pretty. Do you love it? It just looks nice. Like, the camera makes it look nice. I love that you can see all the color speckles in there. Alright, I'll let you guys go. I will see you next week. And, before I leave, don't forget we have a Ravelry group if you would like to come join in. You can find me on Ravelry, the Ravelry group on Instagram. There you go, now you can see 3. I guess that's it. No, I wasn't. I was going to say I was thinking about doing something, but that just seems silly. I don't know. If you like it, tell your knitting friends about it, and we can get a bigger party going over here, because that would be great. I feel like I'm always looking over here, because even when I look at myself, I'm not looking at the camera. Does that bother you? I feel like I've been trying to make more eye contact kind of with you guys, because I feel like sometimes I'll be like looking around while I'm talking, and I don't know, is that distracting? Do you even look at me when I'm talking to you? Because sometimes when I watch podcasts, I'm knitting or doing something else, so they're playing in the background and I only look when they're showing, like a project. Is that what you do? Because then it doesn't matter where I look when I talk. So feedback, please. Let me know how to make this better. I'm gonna try to actually have the opening title screen work this time, because when I checked the video, it was just a blank screen with some music, and that annoyed me. I've been fighting with all the editing software, and I've run into a ton of little bumps and hiccups. I used to use Adobe Premiere, but then I stopped pirating a lot of stuff, so I've been trying to find legitimate programs and stuff to use, and so legitimacy has been not kind to me lately, just to say. I have a Windows machine, and it seems like everyone else who does these, if they're not using some fancy software, they're using iMovie, which I can't get my hands on because I don't have a Mac. Alright, so I think I fixed the sound issue last time. I'm going to do the same thing this time, so that hopefully, it won't be so bad. Let me know what you think, what you want to see. Just let me know. Because basically I'm just talking, yelling into the void, hoping that someone, comes back or I hear my echo. So, I would love to hear from you guys in general. And thank you so much for watching. Oh, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. I would love to have a nice little family of y'all knitters and it would be so much fun. So I think that's it. All right. Bye.